That's the main issue. And done. And we keep on changing the features and it's uh okay, cool. We we are live. Great. Thank you so much, Nanda, for joining us and also um, seeing me tinker with technology. Thank you so much for that. So, again, thank you so much for agreeing to come again and talk about this really important topic, especially as we are seeing a lot of people looking for employment opportunities and also exploring other markets. We are also seeing a rise in a lot of women looking for opportunities outside of Pakistan, which is not something that that was expected in the sense that generally women tend to stick to where their families are. But now we are seeing a lot of women also exploring other possibilities. I will let you introduce yourself and also feel free to share your presentation. You should have access to share your screen, and then I'll be collecting questions, and then we can talk about those questions at the end. Over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, dear Faiza, once again for having me. It's always a pleasure to be together with you and your community. Your work in Pakistan, empowering women to pursue their career goals is really, inspiring to me. So it's always a pleasure to join you. I'm Nanda. I'm a career consulting here in Germany. I also work with recruitment for companies and I provide one-to-one professionals with career advice. I especially work with professionals from outside Germany who want to start or who want to further develop their career in Germany, where I live since 8 years ago. Um, what I also would like to bring today is basically everything that I have been learning about the challenges these professionals face when they are moving their career to an European environment. Even though my work is in Germany, but I have been working with companies from other countries in Europe, and we see similar challenges in other countries for foreigner professionals because the work culture in the countries in Europe is quite similar. So when we talk about the work culture in Germany, what works for job application in Germany, this also applies for other countries in Europe. So if we have now in the group here watching us today, people who are not thinking about Germany, but rather in working in other countries inside of the European Union, be sure that everything we will discuss here applies to those countries as well.
Great, great. Thank you so much. Would you like to share your
Yes.
presentation? Yeah.
Yes, I prepared a few slides. I promise it's not a lot because I want to have time at the end for our Q&A session. So I would like you, I strongly encourage you actually to bring your questions. You can use the chat here on Zoom, or you can just raise your hand at the end of the presentation, and then I will be very happy to clarify your questions. But to help us follow certain topics that I believe are important for us, I prepared these slides. So basically, I spoke with Faiza and we came up with the conclusion that it would be great to bring overall tips, overall advice that you watching us today can use, immediately implement to start applying for jobs, to start pursuing a career in European countries. So I prepared 5 tips, right? I want to be very concise and I want to tell you what is relevant, what can really contribute to your success when you are searching for jobs in Europe. So I summarized in 5 steps. I would like to talk about those 5 steps. But before we jump to the main 5 steps, I would like to explore a bit the situation, which challenges foreign professionals face nowadays when they are applying for jobs in Europe. So let me share my screen with you. Can you see my screen now? This slide is called Career Changers. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes? Perfect. I love this video. It's from the movie The Intern. It's very short, but very insightful. So I would like to share this video with you. Oh, can you hear well? Faiza, is good the audio from the video?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Perfect.
So here I am, applying to be one of your interns, because the more I think about this idea, the more tremendous I think it is. I love the idea of having a place I can go every day. I want the connection, the excitement, I want to be challenged, and I guess I might even want to be needed. The tech stuff might take a bit to figure out. I had to call my 9-year-old grandson just to find out what a USB connector was. But I'll get there, eager to learn. Also, I want you to know I've been a company man all my life. I'm loyal, I'm trustworthy, and I'm good in a crisis. And I love that you're right here in Brooklyn. I've lived here all my life, and lately I feel I may not be hip enough to live in Brooklyn. So this could help with that too. I read once musicians don't retire. They stop when there's no more music in them. Well, I still have music in me. Absolutely positive about that.
That's it. Faiza, do they have the opportunity to interact with us? They can talk during the streaming?
No, so we are
No?
streaming it on multiple channels and people are joining in, so I can see them and they will be connecting via comments or sending a DM to the page. So I'll be collecting questions and sending them to you.
Perfect. So if you want to share any thoughts that you have about this video with us today, as Faiza said, use the chat, use the comments. I would be happy to hear your thoughts. I would be happy to hear how this video, this very short video, it's an introduction, right? It's an application for a job as an intern. How this video resonates with you. Do you have any thoughts? Do you have anything that really caught your attention or resonates with your heart?
Yeah, I have two comments. One person is saying that they really loved the movie, which is amazing. And another person said that they're a bootcamp graduate, so she's part of one of our programs at CodeGirls, and she's saying that this gives her hope that she can learn a new skill and restart her career. And she has mentioned that she is in her early 40s, so it seems that it's not that too late.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This movie actually is about a company, a startup, very modern, very casual, that decided to open an internship program for seniors. They want to integrate people of age, people with more experience, and promote this exchange between different generations of employees. And companies in Europe, they also are open to diversity. They realize that diversity is good for the businesses. Diversity in terms of ethnicity, religious, about gender as well, about nationality. So all types of diversity basically are important to develop products that will satisfy the customer needs. So this is why companies are more and more open to hire diverse candidates. So this is one thought that I like about this video, one of the reasons why I brought this video to our conversation today. The second reason is because of these challenges that we all face when we are stepping into a different job market. We need to adapt a bit, right? He said that he even called his grandson to ask what a USB port is, because it's part of the process of adapting to a new culture, to a new working environment. We need to learn things that are not common for us. This is common to everybody, right? And the third topic that really caught my attention, I thought, okay, I want to bring this video to our conversation today. It's the fact that he's in the process of adapting himself to this new working environment, a very modern, high-tech startup, but at the same time, he doesn't abandon himself. On the contrary, he's trying to highlight his best skills, his talent, his expertise. And this is something that I want you to keep with you even when you finish this event today. When you leave this event today, keep this thought with you. Yes, you need to do some efforts to adapt to a new work environment, but never lose yourself, your essence. Never forget your talent. Never forget your best skills, your expertise, because this is what makes you unique. This is part of your selling points when you are writing your CV, your cover letter, when you are speaking to a recruiter in an interview. You need to be very aware of your expertise, your talent, to use this in your favor and to sell yourself as a candidate. Okay, you don't need to be someone else in order to get a job in a different market. You need to learn some things. You need to adapt a bit. You need to know what a USB port is, but you don't need to be somebody else. You can be yourself. Okay, this is why I like it so much. I hope these continue to create thoughts in your minds afterwards as well. Let me jump to the next one. Yeah, so first we talked about adapting to a new market, right? And this is part of the reality of many job seekers nowadays, that the world is more globalized, as Faiza said, and more people are looking for jobs in different countries. But where job changers, I mean, I'm calling them, or you or us, job changers, because we're changing to a different job market. Where do they fail? And I was reviewing some statistics about recruitment, and I found these very shocking statistics about the applications. So the application, as you know, is the very first step before you're getting a job offer, right? And 50% of the CVs are rejected because they do not match the job requirements. Can you believe that? And even more than this, between 70 and 80% of the CVs are rejected by a software even before a review by human eyes, even before the recruiter has access to the CV. The ATS, the applicant tracking system, already rejects the CVs. What does it mean for us? So the first data, that 50% of applications are rejected because they do not match the job requirements, tell us that either people are applying randomly, they are applying for jobs that do not really match their skills, or they are not really writing in their CVs what their skills are, which tools they have been using, which products they have been developing, which skills they have, what their expertise is. And we'll talk about this in a minute, why expertise is so important, why I'm repeating these words so many times today. We'll talk about this in a minute. But this is what the first data tells us. And the second data is even more shocking, because when the CV is rejected before the review by the recruiter or the hiring manager, it means that people are not writing their CVs in a high quality way. They are not using important keywords, or they are using a format that is not ATS friendly. I want you to be very careful about that. Many companies, especially the big ones that receive high volume of applications, they use applicant tracking systems to screen the CVs in the first phase of screening. This implies that your CV should be in a format that is ATS friendly. This means avoid tables, pictures, logos. Try to use simple text, and preferably just black and white. So black letters, black font on the white background. That's the simplest version you can use, and that's the safest option you can have if the company is using an ATS system. And use keywords. Using relevant keywords is super, super important for your CV to pass this ATS screening. And of course, highlight your best skills, the tools, the industries you have been working in, the products you have been developing, technologies you have been using, or you have been studying. If you don't have work experience yet, but you have studied, right? During your study, you probably did some projects. You probably did some internship. This is per se experience that is valid. So bring this experience to your CV and specify. Don't simply say developed, designed, created. say, what did you create? By using which tools, which technologies, which results did you achieve? So specify, be very descriptive about your experience, because this can help the recruiter to see the match between your experience and the technologies or the products they are building in the company you are applying to. Okay, so this is the first conversation I wanted to have with you, because this was very shocking when I first found out this data. And that is what I call the 3Ms model. That is a framework I use with my clients when I'm coaching one-to-one individuals towards finding jobs in the European market. I work with them on those 3Ms that stand for money, motivation, and matching. If you are able, if you manage to fulfill all these 3Ms, you get a job. I promise you, because I have seen this happening before. Faiza knows I worked for a foundation, for Imagine Foundation, where we helped placing more than 700 individuals, all from outside Europe, in jobs inside Europe. And we work with them exactly in these dimensions. So we help them to understand the job market, to understand what opportunities are available. And also we encourage them to research cost of living, salary ranges, because they need to be prepared to negotiate their salary. We help them to frame their motivation when it comes to your pitch, right? You probably heard that job seekers, they need to prepare a 1-minute pitch for your job interviews, exactly. And one of the things that you need to convey in this 1-minute pitch is exactly your motivation. So companies want to hire individuals who want to work for them. So avoid saying things like, I'm applying for this job because I want to relocate. I'm applying for this job because I want to have an experience abroad. This is not strong enough. You should convey your motivation by making a connection with the specific job or company you are discussing during the interview. And the third point is the matching. I would say it's the most challenging one, because it's about exactly recognizing job opportunities that are a good match for your skills and for your expertise. Then you need to shape your application, the CV, the LinkedIn profile, the cover letter that works for Pakistan companies, for Brazilian companies, for, I don't know, Mexican companies, does not work for European companies. In each market you are applying for jobs, you need to adapt your CV. If you decided to apply for Canada, for the US, you need to have another type of CV that is specific for that type of job market. And of course, especially since last year when we saw these layoff waves happening all over Europe, it became more important to go a step ahead. So only preparing your CV, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile, only applying for jobs was no longer enough for qualified professionals to find jobs. Working with a lot of IT professionals who are applying for jobs in Europe realized that the ones who succeeded within the first 6 months of their job search were the ones who took a step ahead. And I'm talking about networking, it's very important, and also about finding ways to showcase your work. This is super important. This is how you show potential employers that you are a good match for their vacancies. You can do the job, you can be successful, and you can help the companies achieve their business goals.
Nanda, we have two questions about these. So Rabia Sef is asking, what about the portfolio where we can show the work that they've done? So for example, if somebody is a product designer, then where can they show their samples and how do you include it in your LinkedIn and your CV? And another question is by Aisha Sana. She's saying that where can I find an ATS friendly resume format?
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Amazing. I will start from the second one. So where do I find an ATS friendly CV format? I would say To be on the safe side, create a CV template for you that is simple. I will show some examples I think in 2 or 3 slides ahead. I will show 2 examples of a good CV, and I will comment on what you can do to make these CV templates more ATS friendly. But if I could say something simple, in a nutshell, make your CV simple. Avoid multiple colors, preferably have only 2 colors maximum, or even better, just black. So write your CVs in a black font. Try to use only one type of font, not several types, not mixes, and try to avoid graphical elements. For example, logos. I see some people putting some logos on their CVs or creating tables. If you do this, there are 2 problems. So first, it might be a problem depending on the ATS the company is using, and second, it will take more space in your CV. And you'll see in a minute that this is not good. The CV for the European market should be simple and very concise, 1-2 pages maximum. If you use graphical elements, this will make your CV longer, and this will not be good. So in a nutshell, I would say make it simple. Of course, you can research, right? You can simply type on Google, ATS-friendly CV template. You probably will get something, but be careful. Sometimes it gives you suggestions from Canva, and Canva creates CVs as a picture, right? Ideally, your CV should be in a PDF format. That's the best way. And most companies use PDF, not NPG or any kind of picture format. So be careful about that. And regarding the portfolio, super relevant question. I will talk about this more at the end of the presentation, but just to give you some hints, you choose any platform. The important thing is that you choose a platform that has public access. You can simply share your link with any future employers, any recruiters, any hiring managers, and they can easily click on the link and see your portfolio. The platform itself doesn't really matter so much as long as it gives people public access. Second thing, explore this, right? So if you are using a cover letter, use this link for your portfolio in the cover letter. Use it as well in the contact information in your LinkedIn page. Use the same link in the contact information at the very top of your CV. The more, the merrier. People need to find your portfolio. So make it easy for them, and then use the link to your portfolio everywhere you can. All sorts of communication have with companies. You can even add the link to your portfolio in your signature in the email you use to communicate with companies. Okay, let's talk about these 3 M's and 5 simple things that you can start implementing today to increase your chances to find a job abroad. The first one is about the salary. It's money, right? The first M is money. Why this is relevant? Companies tend to ask this question. I mean, recruiters tend to ask this question at the very beginning of the hiring process. Sometimes even in the application form, they already ask you, what is your salary expectation? And I see many job seekers having trouble answering this question, but you should not. Do your research. So the first thing you need to do is to decide where you want to apply for jobs, because the location is something that influences directly the salary range that the company can offer you. So first thing is to decide the location. Second thing is to decide which job titles are interesting to you. Which job titles are you looking for? It's a senior product manager. It's a junior product manager. This makes a difference in the salary range as well. It's a full stack engineer, or it's a front end engineer. This also makes a difference in the salary range. So decide the location, the job title, and then you simply Google it. Salary range for a senior product manager in, let's say, Portugal, or salary range for a senior product manager in Germany. I can guarantee to you that you will find different results for those 2 searches, just because you changed the country. Very different, okay? Then, of course, if you Google it, or if you use an AI tool to ask for salary ranges, you have multiple results. You not have only one, but multiple results, which is fine because there is no one single salary platform that is 100% accurate. So it's even interesting, it's even good for you that you get more than one result. So you combine these results and try to see what is the common range between them. For example, let's say that you find a range for Germany between 80,000 and 100,000 in the first result. And then the second result tells you between 70,000 and 90,000. What is the common range? The common range is 80 to 90. So you can use this range as your salary expectation. The only one detail that you need to take care of before communicating the salary range to companies is the following. You need to consider your specific case as well. Let's say that you are a mother of 3 kids, you have a husband. So if you find a job in Germany, you will be relocating with your 3 kids and your husband will not be able to work at the very beginning for any reasons, right? It doesn't matter now. But what matters is that you have a family of 5, only one person will be working. Is this salary range, 80,000 to 90,000, enough for you and your family to live in this city where the job is? Then you need to research the cost of living in the city of the job, just to see if having a salary of 80,000 or 85 or 90,000 is enough for you and your family to live until, right, you get a promotion or until your husband finds a job, which can take, let's say, at least 1 year. Okay? So before communicating your salary range to the company, your salary expectation to the company, just be careful to take a look at the cost of living as well and consider your personal situation. Okay, here are some platforms that I suggest for you. Payscale, Glassdoor, Gehalt.de. This is only valid for Germany. And of course, any AI platforms. I shared with Faiza this presentation. So in case you want, you can ask her. She can share with you the link to the presentation, and you see all these platforms that I'm mentioning here. Okay, next one. Next one is about your motivation, right? Why did you apply for this job? Why do you want to work with us? What attracted you in this position? Well, you are from Pakistan, but we are based in Berlin. Why would you relocate to work for us? So any kind of question like this is aimed to understand your motivation. So what happens is that the work culture in Germany is very much risk avoidant. Companies want to mitigate as much as they can the risks of hiring someone who will not adapt to the culture, to the company, who will not like the job, who will feel demotivated and will be an underperformer. So they want to mitigate these risks. This is why they look for individuals who are motivated, who can clearly communicate and convince about their motivation to work for that specific company. I said at the beginning, avoid answering questions about motivation with something generic, like I'm applying because I want to relocate. This is too generic. This doesn't convince the recruiter. What convinces a recruiter is when you bring concrete facts, real facts that really attract you in the job. Here are some questions that can help you to come up with your reasons to apply for the job. Before you go to an interview, so let's imagine the concrete case. You applied for a senior product manager position in Munich, and then tomorrow you have an interview, first interview for the job. They will ask you for sure about your salary expectation, about your motivation. Then you will review the job description. You will also review the company website, and you will try to answer these questions. What excites you about the job? Can you come up with at least one example? One thing that excites you about the job? In this job, I will be working with cross-functional teams. I will be working with engineering teams, also sales, marketing, and this really excites me. I had an experience like this before, and it was super fun. I really enjoyed. I learned a lot from these different teams. Could be one example. What about the company's mission? Does it resonate with you? Does it make sense to you? No, it's not really super exciting to me. It's fine. You don't need to like everything about the company. It's fine. But ideally, you should bring at least 2 concrete reasons why you are excited about the job or this job attracts you. Maybe you like the mission of the company. You like the mission of the company because their mission is to empower women, and this is something that you believe in. So you can communicate that. Yeah, I'm super eager to work with you because I see that one of your elements in your mission is exactly empowering women to pursue their career goals, and I believe in that. So make a connection between yourself and what you learned about the company. Let's say that you don't like the mission, you don't feel anything super exciting about the job, but you liked the career opportunity this job will give you. You can say, yeah, the job is more or less what I have been doing. The mission is something that really doesn't excite me. It's not special. But I see that by joining this company, I'll have the possibility to further develop my leadership skills. I will lead a team of 2 people. This will be a great experience for me. I can further develop myself as a leader. And in the future, I can grow into a manager position, for example, because the company offers career growth opportunities. Maybe this is something that is valuable for you. What about their product? Does it sound exciting for you working with their product or their service? These are just some questions to help you come up with at least 2 concrete reasons why you would like to work for this specific company, okay? When you communicate your motivation in interviews, be very specific. Do we have any questions about this topic so far?
Not exactly this topic, but 2 more questions around people who want to talk about like a career gap. So question number 1 is, are there any good chances to secure a job in Europe for someone having a large gap between the last job they did and they have now only done courses to cover that gap?
Good question. Tell your story, right? It's very important, especially for the German market, that you do not have gaps in your CV, that you fulfill these gaps. You have been doing something, right? Even if you were not working, I mean, as you just said, you were taking courses. Maybe you did an internship. Maybe you did a side project. Maybe you collaborated with one of your friends in their project. Maybe you did freelancing. Maybe nothing of this, but you are taking courses. So you can say career break, or you can say upskilling time, and then list the things you have been learning, the courses you have been taking, the skills you have been developing. Okay? The important thing is do not leave gaps in your CV. Try to explain what you have been doing, because whatever you did, even if it was just a theoretical course, even though you were developing valuable skills, right? You are learning valuable knowledge that can qualify you for your future job. So do not leave it blank.
Can I ask the other question that I'm seeing here?
Or should we leave for the end, Faiza?
Yeah,
I think I just need...
leave them for the end.
Yeah, I just need 5 more minutes. Basically, now I would like to talk about the matching, which has everything to do with CVs, with portfolios that you have been asking. I think this is the most interesting part. I believe the next questions will come in this sense. So the very first important thing is to choose the jobs that really match your expertise. Here are some platforms, some very popular platforms that companies in Germany, in Europe overall, they use to post their jobs. So if you are looking for jobs but don't know how to start from these platforms, okay? And also you can create job alerts. So even if you are not actively checking these job boards every day, you can still receive once a week or even daily reports about jobs that match your search. So this is one thing. Second thing, it's important that when you decide to apply or not for a job, check if you have at least 70% matching, because this is what the companies are looking for. Remember that I said that the work culture is very much risk avoidant. They want to hire people who have been doing a similar job, who have been working in a similar industry. I know that, Faiza, you have been working, among other things, in product management. And in product management roles, we see very much these companies are looking for professionals who have been working in a similar industry, who have experience with similar products, because they believe that you build expertise around this type of product. So the chances that you'll be successful in their job if they hire you are much higher. They want to mitigate risks. They want to guarantee that you'll be successful, that you'll be productive, that your work will lead them to achieve their business goals. This is why a good matching is so important. I see among my clients, also among my mentees, a lot of people applying to 100, sometimes 200 jobs, and do not get any interview. Why? Because they don't take the matching as serious as they should, because it doesn't work like this in all the countries. Like in my country, in Brazil, this matching thing is much more flexible. Companies are more interested in one topic or another. They are interested in your degree, or they are interested in one experience that you had in the past, but they don't expect you to have a long-term career in the same topic, and they still invite you for an interview, they still hire you. In Europe, it's much more specialized. They want experts in the same field they are working in. So if you are talking about an e-commerce company, they are looking for experts in e-commerce, especially when it comes to developing their product. For engineering roles, it's a bit different. They are looking for experts in the same tech stacks they are using, especially programming languages. So take this very seriously. The more similarity you find between your work experience and the job you are applying for, the higher are your chances of success. So aim for at least 70% match between the job requirements and your expertise. And it's very important that you know what your expertise is, because here the market doesn't look at professionals looking for generalists. For example, I had a client recently who was a lawyer, and his experience was very generic. He was working with several domains in law, and he struggled to find a job because companies were looking for an employment lawyer, or a lawyer for the energy field, or a lawyer for the international commerce field. So the jobs were very specific. If you have a very varied experience, try to identify what is the domain that you build your experience in. Okay, you know a lot of things about several industries and products and areas and technologies, but there's this one that you are strongest, that you are an expert. Try to identify that and try to find jobs that match this expertise, because when you apply for those jobs, you have much more chances of success. Okay, this is super important. And then, of course, tailor your CV. We have been talking about this, about HS-friendly CV, about portfolio, right? This is super important because your CV is the first communication you have with the company. So tailor your CV for the German market, for the European market. It should be short, no longer than 2 pages. It should be simple. Use bullet points, use short sentences, and it should be relevant. So here are 2 examples that I wanted to share with you. So these 2 examples are good ones, right? They are considered very organized, direct to the point. The type of language is straightforward. It's easy to identify the experience, but also the expertise of these 2 professionals. And they are HS friendly in general. The only thing is this first one, this CV at the left-hand side, that you see the picture. The less graphic elements you use in your CV, the better. The more safer you will be in terms of passing the ATS. So I would recommend, I like this template as something that we see very often among candidates, but some ATS, some applicant tracking systems can have trouble with the picture. Other than that, both are recommended, okay? And you see they are very simple. They have this white background. They don't have tables. They don't have logos. They have 2 colors maximum. So one is black and white. The other one uses blue, but no more than 2 colors, right? So these would be recommended CVs. Another thing that I want you to notice is the following. They all have a summary, a very short summary that comes at the very top of the CV, right? So you see the job title. In the job title, you will specify what your expertise is, but also which kind of jobs you are interested. For example, if you are an engineer, specify, are you a full stack engineer? Are you a back-end engineer? Are you a front-end engineer? You can even play around this. Let's say you are a full stack engineer, you work on the front and the back end. When you apply for back-end engineering positions, write back-end engineer at the top of the CV. When you apply for front-end positions, write front-end engineer at the top of the CV. So you can play around these job titles at the very beginning of the CV. And then after that, you have a very short summary, no longer than 5 lines, that summarizes all your experience. It talks about how many years of experience you have. It talks about the main industry or main products you developed and the main technologies you have been using. Okay, it's a very short summary. Another important detail that you see that is common between the 2 CVs is the use of bullet points that start with a verb, right? So that's the best way to describe your work experience. Do not say responsible for, because this makes the reading a bit boring, not easy not an easy flow. So we start each bullet point with a verb. Worked, developed, led, collaborated, increased, built. Always start the bullet point with a verb. Great. And then LinkedIn. The same things we said for your CV applies to your LinkedIn. Bullet points, start with a verb, play around the job title, the headline in your LinkedIn, same thing. But there are some specific things about LinkedIn that we don't have in your CV. The first thing is have a complete LinkedIn profile. Okay, use all the sections, everything. The more you use the sections in your LinkedIn, the more complete your LinkedIn is, the better. Because the algorithm works based on keywords. So the more keywords you use in your CV, in your LinkedIn profile, the higher are your chances that your profile will be found by the recruiters when they are searching for candidates. Besides completed, your profile should also be well connected. So you see here, this mark, 500 plus connections. This is super important as well. Use this unique opportunity that LinkedIn gives you to make a network in the same location of the job. This is super important because the algorithm is based on keywords, but it's also based on connections. The closer you are to the recruiter who is looking for a professional, the higher are your chances that your profile will appear in the recruiter's search. So connect with recruiters, with professionals in your same field, in the same location where you are looking for jobs. And here it comes the portfolio. The portfolio is not the only way to showcase your work, but it's definitely a very important way. We already started talking about this. So have a portfolio. I know several professionals in the technology field that do not have a portfolio. This is a common mistake, but I want you to avoid this. Have a portfolio. Even if you are not a designer, Fernanda, but I don't create any designs, I don't create any websites. Okay, so what is the way to showcase your work? Maybe you are a writer, maybe you are a content creator, maybe you work on the marketing side. So create a blog, create videos to showcase your work. Maybe you are an educator, maybe you are a coach. Write articles, create a blog for you. Maybe you are, I don't know, you are a psychologist, you are, I don't know, a therapist, you are a lawyer. You can create an Instagram account, post some videos, giving people tips about what you do. This is a way to showcase your work. There's even another possibility. Bring up, advertise the feedback you receive, recommendations you received from people who worked with you, from your leads, from your managers, for example. You have a field for this on LinkedIn. Remember, if you scroll down your profile, almost at the end of the page, you have recommendations. So you can ask people who worked with you in the past to give you recommendations on LinkedIn. This is super, super valuable. This is a way for you to be one step ahead of your competitors. Remember that I said before, the market became more competitive since beginning of 2024 because of the layoff waves. There are more professionals available in the market who had been laid off. Now you are competing against those candidates. This means that only sending out your CV is not enough anymore to get a job offer. You need to do more. One way is to create a way to showcase your work, advertise, publish the positive feedback you received from those who worked with you. And of course, use networking. I don't get tired to say network, network, network. Connect with people. If you know someone, maybe someone from Pakistan who is already working in the same country where you want to have a job, talk to them and say, hey, I'm looking for a job. If you know of any vacancies that you can refer me, please do that. Or do you know anybody, any recruiters that you can connect with me, that you can introduce to me? Use your network. Let people know about your career goals. Let them know that you are looking for a job abroad. Connect with them. Ask them to create connections for you. And this is a way for you to increase your chances, because people say, statistics say that there are up to 20% of vacancies that are filled through referrals, not through job posts. That's it. I hope I didn't talk so much. Faiza, thank you so much for your patience. I hope I could answer already some of the questions, but I will be very happy now to focus 100% on the questions of our audience.
Thank you so much, Nanda. That was really helpful and very organized also. I have a few questions from one comment for you. So Bushra Sami is saying, hi Nanda, happy to see you here. You are a great mentor and a coach. And then we have
Thank you.
another comment from someone who's saying that I have a background in finance, but I stopped working for a few years, and now I've recently completed a few certifications in software engineering. Do you think somebody like me will have a chance? Because I'm somebody who doesn't have a background in technology, which means I do not have an engineering degree.
Great. Very, very important question that also reminds me that the rules to apply for the work visa in Germany changed at the end of 2024. And now having a bachelor's degree in engineering is not a requirement for the work visa anymore. So my answer for you is this doesn't matter if you don't have an engineering degree. What matters though is professional experience. They still require that you have, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 3 years of work experience in engineering, that you need to prove this work experience. So I would say invest in gaining work experience, either as a freelancer or maybe finding a full-time job for a company where you are right now, but try to build up your expertise because this will be super important. When companies decided to hire you, they also worry about the visa, right? Do you fulfill the requirements for the visa? So this will be important as well for you to get a job abroad. And currently, you don't need to have a degree, but you do need to have work experience.
Great, great. Thank you. Another question is about which countries and cities are currently, have currently have a lot of job opportunities. So if you have any insights on that in terms of where should they look for opportunities when it comes to like Europe overall.
Great question as well. I will talk about my experience in 2024. So I was working at Imagine Foundation, and we had last year we had about 25 mentees who found jobs in Europe. The main locations where they found jobs were Portugal and Germany. Those were the countries where most of them found jobs. In third place, it was the UK, and then other countries, diverse countries, a variety of countries in Europe. But I would say those three were the main countries: Germany, Portugal in the first place, and then countries inside the United Kingdom.
Great, great. Thank you. Mariam is asking, thank you, Nanda, for all the insights that you provided. I'm working in tech and have more than 10 years of experience. I have applied for many jobs in Europe, but my CV does not get selected for interviews. What could be the reason? Do you think it's only ATS?
It could be ATS, right? So today we talk about things you can do to increase our chances to pass the ATS, make it simple, just black and white if possible, no logos, no pictures. It could be the matching. We saw also that 50% of the applications do not match the job requirements. So I would encourage you to pay attention to this. And if you think that it's hard for you to identify whether your expertise is a good match for the job or not, ask for a third eye. Ask for somebody else, a friend, or I don't know, someone you trust, and ask them to read your CV and the last job you applied for, and ask them to tell you, do you think that my CV matches the requirements of this job? Because it's very common that people cannot judge this by themselves, because you know your expertise. So you know that you can do the job, but sometimes you are not describing your expertise very clearly in your CV. So even though in your head, you know that you match the requirements, your CV does not communicate that. It's hard for you to identify. So this is why I'm suggesting that you ask somebody else to read your CV, read the job requirements, and tell you if there is a good match. So that could be another reason as well. And one third thing, pay attention to the type of companies and jobs you are applying for. We have been here talking about the competition in the market, right? When you apply for jobs that are very old, that have been posted a month ago, for example, usually those jobs have already a high volume of applications. A lot of candidates already applied. Your competition is higher, but also it's possible that someone is already in the final interviews. So the recruiter will probably not select your application if they already have 3-4 candidates in final interviews. So old jobs should be avoided. So try to apply for jobs posted within the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks maximum, but the earlier, the better, the fresher the job, the better. And companies that are very small, by very small, I mean companies with less than 200 employees, usually they focus on the local market. So if you are based in Pakistan, applying for a job that requires relocation, try to avoid companies with less than 200 employees, because usually they are not hiring from abroad. This is an overall estimation, of course. It's not impossible that a company with less than 200 employees hire from abroad. But what we have seen is that bigger companies have more chances to hire you from abroad, and therefore to select you for an interview.
Got it. Thank you. And her next question is about relocation. So she's asking that generally what percentage of companies provide support in relocation?
I don't have this data with me, but I would say we find still in Germany a lot of companies that provide support with relocation, really a lot. But as I said, mostly bigger companies with more than 200 employees, usually. And one important thing to differentiate here is that for the UK, for example, you need a sponsor. You need a visa sponsor, because the costs for the visa are quite high, and usually individuals cannot afford this themselves even before having a job. So yeah, more difficult, right? If they don't have a job yet and they need to pay, I don't know, £1,000 for the visa, it's complicated. So when you talk about jobs in the UK, usually you need a visa sponsor. But this is not the case for most of the countries in the European Union, because here you can use the blue card. So the EU blue card costs about 70 euros, between 70 and 90 euros, depending on the case. So it's not really something that nobody can afford. Most people can afford, actually. So you don't need a visa sponsor for countries in the European Union. What do you need? I mean, actually, you don't need. You can apply for the visa yourself. You need to go to the embassy in Pakistan, and only you can do this. You apply for the visa yourself, you receive the visa, you relocate. Sometimes the companies offer you, for example, a bonus to compensate you for your relocation expenses. But you can do the relocation without this bonus, right? If you have some savings, you can do this. I'm just saying that the requirements in terms of relocation are not that high in the European Union. You can do this if you have some savings, you can do this. However, many companies, especially the big ones, they offer bonus for relocation, or they offer support when you arrive in Germany, for example, for the flat search or for your blue card application. Because the blue card, you can only apply when you arrive. You apply for a work visa to be able to enter Germany, and here you apply for the blue card. And sometimes the companies have an HR team that can support you in this application already in Germany.
Great. Thank you so much. We are almost out of time, but I have one more question that I want to ask you before I let you go. So somebody has mentioned, they have DM'd me, so I'm not going to take their name. They are saying that when they are applying for jobs in Europe and even in US, they see that the jobs are remote, but they require the person to be in that region. So is it the same practice in Europe that you can get a remote role in Germany, but you have to be in Germany to work at that company?
Sometimes this happens. Yeah, sometimes this happens for many reasons. In Germany, the main reasons I see are because of privacy, data security reasons. So companies want to make sure that you'll be working with data that is inside the EU. So sometimes this happens, and they say it's a remote work, but you need to be in the EU, one of the EU countries. The place where I see fully remote jobs that you can be anywhere in the world the most is England. So many people, many job seekers, mentees that I had that found fully remote jobs, they found those jobs in British companies. There are a few cases in German companies as well, but it's more rare. If you are looking for a fully remote job that you don't need to relocate at all, I would invest in searching for jobs in England.
Right. Thank you so much, Nanda. We do have a few more questions, but we're already over time a little bit. This was really helpful. I'm going to add the slide deck that you shared in the comments for people to take a look at. If you have any other resources for them, any way that they can maybe reach out to you, you can also share that with me, and I'm going to include it. We do have quite a lot of people watching it, and I'm also seeing a lot of activity on the videos, so which is great. Thank you so much, as always, for being such a sport about this. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. It's an honor always to be with you and your community, Faiza. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Have a great day, Nanda. I'll be in touch.
Thank you. Bye. And thank you everybody who joined us today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.